Welcome everyone, my name is Tariq Johnson. I am a multi-unit franchise owner. Actually, I got to get used to this. I just sold one of my locations about a month ago, so I'm no longer a multi-unit franchise owner, but I built a seven-figure franchise business with two locations on the opposite sides of the country, one in California and one in Florida. And in this video, we're going to talk about the 5 things that you must do before buying a franchise. This video is going to be very helpful. Obviously, having owned 2 franchise locations myself, I have made some mistakes that I wish I didn't make. And if I had talked to someone like myself at a little bit deeper level, then maybe would not have made those mistakes. So let's dive in. So the number one thing is that you need to know your why. Why do you want to buy a franchise business? Is it money? Do you want to leave your job? Do you want to just supplement your income from your job? Do you want to spend more time with your family? Are you looking to try to get rich? Are you trying to create financial freedom? Are you looking to retire? What's your situation like right now, and what specifically are you trying to accomplish? It's, sometimes people start looking at franchises or buying a business, and it's just like they're just like floating and just wandering around looking at different opportunities, never really clear on exactly why they're looking to buy a franchise. So it's important to understand that and clarify that. So for me, when my wife and I decided to buy a franchise and we started looking at different opportunities, I was very clear on the reason why. At the time, I was a financial advisor. I've had my investment licenses for 13 years. In that industry, it's very regulated. So I had always wanted to start talking about business and entrepreneurship because I've been studying businesses and entrepreneurship for the last 14 years. But because of the licenses that I held and the different regulations and compliance, I was not able to do that as a financial advisor. So my intention in looking at buying a franchise was to start creating an additional income stream while I still worked full time, so that eventually I could leave my role as a financial advisor and then transition into doing something else. What that was, I didn't know, but it can be very difficult to make a transition from a full-time job, especially if you have a 6-figure income, or you're the primary breadwinner in your family, you're the only income in your family. It can be very challenging. Fortunately, my wife does very well, and we were in a situation where we decided to go the route of a franchise to start to create that additional passive income stream. So understand your why, make sure you're clear on that, write it down, talk to your spouse if you're married, and make sure that they're on the same page with you. Have that open communication from the beginning, because the last thing you want to do is start going down the rabbit hole of going to look at a franchise and going to buy one, and you get excited and you're ready to make the move and pull the trigger, and then you talk to your spouse and they are not on the same page with you and they're freaked out. So even if they're not going to be involved, take them along the journey with you. Have them get on the phone calls with the franchisor and different things like that. Now, real quick, if you're getting some value out of this video, I actually created this free blueprint. When we opened our store in California, we were able to get that store profitable in the 2nd month in business, which was crazy, especially after investing $300,000 to get that location open. But I created a quick blueprint. It's called my 7-step blueprint to business profits in 60 days. It's completely free. There's no gimmicks. You can go to my website, tariqjohnson.com, and you can grab it there. If you don't want that, just make sure you drop me a little message or link, and tell me a little bit about why you're looking to get into franchising and kind of what you're looking for, and if there's any way that I can help you. And then also hit the subscribe button below, because what that helps is it helps for more people to see this video and get the information on the channel. It really helps me out, so I'd appreciate it if you just hit the subscribe button and give it a thumbs up. All right, let's keep going. So the second thing you must do is to engage a franchise consultant or business broker. So this was one of the mistakes that I made when buying a franchise, and my wife and I, looking back, fortunately it's worked out, but it could have gone better, right? Our locations have been profitable. After just selling the store in California, man, that's exciting. We cash flowed on that business for 3 years, and and it helped to supplement our income and continue to save and invest. But if I were to have worked with a franchise consultant, there's a lot of things that I would have been more aware of, questions that I would have asked. And it's important, and I don't want to jump to this is the next one, but it's important to make sure that the franchise that you're looking at matches up with your skill sets, matches up with your personality traits, matches up with the things that you like doing or you can tolerate doing, and that it also matches up with your schedule and what you're looking to create for your family. And so a franchise consultant can help figure that out in an organized, structured way. So if you need some help looking for a franchise consultant, reach out to me. I'm happy to connect you with one that is trusted and one that can give you really good advice and start to take you along that journey and process of getting more and more clear and doing your research properly. So the third thing that you must know is your budget, right? And when I say your budget, it's more about you must know your current financial situation and be very, very clear about that. So one of the reasons why is because anytime that you start working with a franchise consultant and then the franchise consultant passes your information along to the franchisor, if you don't know what a franchisor is, I'll drop a link down below. I created another video about what it's like owning a franchise from my perspective as a franchise owner and having owned two different businesses across the country from each other. And I also explain the difference between franchisor and franchisee and how that works. But when your information is getting to the franchisor, you're going to have to provide a list of all of your savings, your liquid assets, right? So money that can be converted to cash or is cash, usually in a short period of time. So checking accounts, savings accounts, CDs, your investment accounts, retirement accounts. So what would be good is for you to create a balance sheet now and list out all of your assets and get clear on what that is. How much money do you have in your checking account? How much money do you have in your savings account? How much money do you have in CDs, investment accounts, your 401k, old IRAs? Do you own property? Do you own real estate? What do you own? So get a list of what your assets are. One of the reasons is because the franchisor is going to need to look at that. And then the second reason that's tied to that is that the franchisor usually has requirements around your net worth. So they're usually going to require you to have a certain amount of money liquid. Liquid, again, meaning money that you have in checking, savings, CDs, different things like that. They also usually count IRAs and 401ks as liquid money as well. And then they have an overall net worth requirement. So when we opened our franchise, the franchise company had financial requirements of having $100,000 liquid and a $300,000 net worth. And then if you're looking to open up more locations, more than just one location, and sign what's called a multi-unit agreement, then typically you have to have even more of a net worth and liquid assets. It also depends on the business that you're looking at. If you're looking at opening a massive restaurant or a hotel or something that takes a couple $1 million to build out, then usually some franchisors require that you have $300,000 liquid and $1 million net worth. So know your money, know your financial situation. And then the third point besides that and knowing your financial situation is that you got to know what franchise opportunities make sense for you. Without knowing your current situation and your current finances, then how are you going to be able to make a decision and figure out what franchise is going to make the best sense for you? So number 4 is to get really clear on the lifestyle that you want to live. And here's what I mean by this, and here's an example. So when I told you that one of the mistakes that I had made in opening up a franchise was not engaging with a franchise consultant. And the reason why that was a mistake is because I didn't really think in deeply how owning a franchise would affect my lifestyle and my wife's lifestyle. So as an example, before owning the franchise, I was playing a lot of golf. At the time, we were living in California. We were members of a golf club out there, and I would like to play in golf tournaments and different things like that. And so I used to golf a lot on the weekends. What do you think happened after opening up a juice and smoothie bar to my weekends? Yes, that is it. So what do you think happened to my weekends after opening up a juice and smoothie bar? if you're not aware, the juice and smoothie bar business, the prime days tend to be the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. Weather is nice, and people want to go get a juice, they want to get a smoothie, they want to get an acai bowl. So what happened was I wound up spending a lot of my weekends in the store helping out and helping to run the business and get everything up and going, especially because after we opened our location in California, we knew that we were going to be moving to Florida, and I really wanted to make sure that the business was running efficiently and smoothly before I left. So try to spend as much time as I could there. But yeah, my weekends were shot, and in that business, we were open from, on the weekdays, we would open at 7 a.m., we would close at 8 or 9 p.m. depending upon the season, and pretty much similar on the weekend. So if someone ever called out or there was an incident that happened, it affects the lifestyle. And part of having a retail business, one of the risks, and something that happened was someone smashed the window to our store at 4 o'clock in the morning, along with a couple of other stores in our shopping center. And obviously that affected my lifestyle, my sleep, and having to deal with it. So different franchises don't necessarily have that risk. There are franchises that are just Monday through Friday. At one point we looked at opening a daycare franchise. We decided not to do it. We might do it in the future, but at this point, as of this video, which is, look down below, October 17th, 2020, we haven't done it. But that's a Monday through Friday business, right? So it's a Monday through Friday business. Generally, you have a director or assistant director, so you have a little bit more senior management that you can rely on in that business, but there's no weekends, right? So it's important going through that process to look at the different franchise opportunities. What are the pros? What are the cons? How could that affect your current lifestyle? What are you willing to give up? What are you not willing to give up? Do you have young kids? Is the weekends the time where you get to spend family time? And if you open up a franchise that's open on the weekends, what happens if an employee calls out? If you're the one that runs that business, you're going to have to be there on the weekends. And if you have a manager that runs the business and they leave, then that can impact you. So get a clear picture of what you want your lifestyle to be. And it's important to understand that in the first couple of years, you might have to sacrifice your lifestyle a little bit more in the first couple of years in order to get the business up and running. And then you can hire a team as your sales grow and you can afford higher level talent. But it's important to have that end in mind. So the last item that you must know before buying a franchise is you must know your numbers. So research and due diligence. So when you're looking at a franchise, there's two scenarios to talk about. One is a brand new franchise location. So you have to do your research. You're going to do your discovery day with the franchisor, right? So discovery day is when basically you go in, they meet you, you meet them, they tell you about the business. It's usually either 3 hours or a half day, or it could even be a full day. You have the opportunity to watch presentations and meet with a lot of the senior leaders or department leaders with the franchise company. But it's important to ask a lot of questions about how they operate the business, how they make decisions, and working with a franchise consultant and working with a professional. And again, if you need one, reach out to me and I will help you with that. But it's important that you have a series of questions to ask them, so you're doing your research and due diligence. It's kind of like doing an interview. And I don't know everyone who's watching this video right now, but if you've ever interviewed someone and hired the wrong person, I've certainly done it before where I didn't ask enough questions and I didn't do enough research. And so making sure you do your research on the front end is very important in buying a new location. Looking through the FDD. So FDD stands for Franchise Disclosure Document. Every franchisor has to have an FDD. The franchise business is a regulated business, so you have to look at that FDD. They're usually hundreds of pages long. I would strongly recommend that you go through that as thoroughly as possible. It's going to be really boring and really painful, but you might regret not going through there. There could be some really key information in there that you're missing. Also, in the franchise disclosure document, it's usually going to give you an idea of what the average profit and loss statement is. Some franchisors will actually list them individually, and they'll also list all the different franchise owners. And so you'll be able to reach out and call those franchise owners and ask them questions. What I recommend is you have the same series of questions that you ask a variety of different franchisees with the franchise company that you're looking at, or the multiple franchise companies that you're looking at. Look, when you're doing your research in deciding to buy a franchise business, it is better to move slow than move fast. The likelihood is you would regret moving fast more than you would regret moving slow. And a really good franchise company is not going to try to rush you through that process. They'll probably try to influence you to make a decision and make a commitment, but they're not going to try to hard sell you. And if someone's trying to really hard sell you on the process, then you know that that is not the opportunity for you. This is a really big decision. You've got to do your research. You've got to look at the franchise disclosure documents. You've got to talk to other franchisees. You've got to create or look at what's called a pro forma, which is basically creating a financial analysis of basically what the sales might be, what the expenses might be, and then what your return might be. And then you can do it by year and put a bunch of different calculations to figure out what you may make. Look, just because someone has succeeded in a franchise, that doesn't mean you'll succeed in that same franchise. There are varying results when owning a franchise. A franchise company could have 500, 1,000 locations. There are still locations that close. There are going to be locations that do 7 figures. There are going to be locations that only do $300,000-$400,000 in sales. That makes a big difference in what you're going to make and how that's going to affect your lifestyle and how that's going to affect your financial situation. So do your research, do your due diligence. If you need help in that process, again, reach out to me, and I'd be happy to help and offer my advice. So again, hey, thanks for your time, guys. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up, and drop a comment below. Ask me any questions. I do my best to answer all of the questions. Then make sure to go to my website, tariqjohnson.com, and download my 7-step blueprint to business profits in 60 days, because it's going to be a game changer for you. All right, I'll see you in the next one.